Hello, my name is Mr. Mooman11, and I'll be your teacher for today's lesson on advanced cyber attack strategies, brought to you with limited commercial interruption by LEG. But enough from our non-existent sponsors, let's get started with a rundown of the tactics you need to be implementing game in and game out to start seeing improvement in your cyber attack performance. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and check out the predecessor to this video where we cover part 1 of the necessary tricks of the trade for boosting your cyber gameplay to the next level. I'll just go ahead and wait here for you to check that out. And we're back. Thanks so much for pausing it while you learned some great tips. Wasn't that first video just chocked full of fun? For those of you, though, that it's been a little while, here's a quick refresher on the absolute basics you should already be working on improving for yourself before you hop in today's lesson. Cause that's right, baby, I'm assigning you homework, and I won't rest until I see you slaying out there using the new tactics you pick up during this series. I'm looking at you, Spencer. Step it up. First and foremost, it's cyber attack, not search and destroy. You gotta know the importance of revives, cause revives win games. Secondly, you gotta be communicating with your teammates constantly. Giving callouts, telling them how nice they're looking today. Simple stuff. Third, move together as a team. The more guns you have in an area, the more likely you are to remove any enemy threats. And it'll be much easier to pick up nearby fallen teammates if you're not having to run across the entire map, dodging enemy attacks like a little crewmate on his way back to his last task, and Cyan is hot on his tail, and boy has he been sus, pointing fingers at Red all game. But guess whose body was just found? Fucking Red's! Sorry, I try not to get emotional over these things, but Red had a son. Anywho, the first major advanced tactic it will be important for you to learn and then do subconsciously in-game is what I'm sure many of you have already heard about, called slide canceling. If you're wanting to get better at the game, not just in cyber attack, but in all aspects of your play, it'll be important for you to master this movement. What slide canceling does is effectively increases your tactical sprint duration from a measly 2 seconds to virtually unlimited. While you're tac sprinting, your movement speed is increased by about 50%, even from just regular running. Combining double time, holding a knife, and slide canceling, you can rush the enemy down incredibly fast and get to power positions much quicker than the other team. Later on in this video series, I plan on showing you guys my favorite rushing routes I use on each map to blitz the enemy team into submission and win games faster. But for now, let's focus on how to actually get the movement down. At the start of a round, or whenever you're moving away from cover, like always, you'll want to immediately tactical sprint. Like I said, this tac sprint duration lasts for 2 seconds normally, or 4 seconds if you have the double time equipped as one of your perks. Knowing this, you can time out in your head approximately when your tac sprint is going to run out, and that's when you perform the slide cancel. To do it, while you're in tac sprint, you'll want to slide, and as you're slowing down in that slide, press the slide button again to cancel the action. Then, double tap on your sprint buttons to enter the tactical sprint again without having to wait for the usual cooldown. I personally use the tactical button layout, and I play on an Xbox controller, so for me, the button combination is left stick to begin the tactical sprint, and then right stick to slide and stop. From there, you just repeat the process and you now have practically unlimited sprint. But don't worry, AT&T and T-Mobile customers, this unlimited sprint plan is compatible with your network coverage too, thanks be unto the mighty Lily. This is just one of those things you'll have to practice until it's in your muscle memory, like riding a bike or kissing the homies goodnight. You'll notice the pros doing it in all their games, and if you're wanting to get better, then so should you. You can also start to implement what's called the bunny hop, or scuff jump, into your movements to add that extra bit of swagger to your step when you round corners. It, also makes it harder for your enemies to hit you if you're bouncing around like a kid on a sugar high, and it's sure to baffle your teammates and excite your Twitch chat. Feel free to follow mine at twitch.tv/Mr. Mooman11.
Oh no, nice hop. What the hell was that?
Bunny hop.
Scuff jump. It's a scuff jump.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Mastering the bouncy boy is going to be another thing I'm assigning for your homework, so if you don't have it down yet, go hop in a private match and practice your slide canceling as well. Performing a scuff jump maintains your momentum from the first bounce and through the second, so it's perfect for catching unsuspecting victims off guard when you come flying around the corner at Mach 5, or for when you need to get out of the tight spot. It definitely takes some practice though, but the mechanics of how to do it are actually really simple. All it takes is pressing your jump button again at the exact moment you impact from landing your first jump. Try it out on your own, and you'll get a feel for when it makes sense to implement this mechanic against your enemies in-game, like when challenging hardscopers or kids mounted on a head glitch. Now, movement is important, but so is where you're moving to. You should know by now it's beneficial to be behind or near cover whenever you're trying to take a gunfight with an enemy. So knowing what surfaces are hard cover and which are not can very well save your life and win you more games. More specifically, let's talk about using the bomb site as a piece of cover. In Cyber Attack, this bad boy is completely bulletproof, and depending on the angle of approach, it can completely conceal you and your bright red name tag from the enemy's line of sight. It also has the added benefit of being partially see-through when you're right up close to it. You're going to want to channel your inner Chad at the senior year homecoming dance and leave no room for Jesus between you and that bomb site to be able to see right through the corners. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need every advantage you can to defend against multiple attackers, staying concealed until you've identified exactly where your targets are can mean the difference between winning and losing a round. There are a select few bomb sites that lend themselves extremely well to using this tactic because of their positioning. For one example, the site on Grasner Raid is perfect because you have hard cover directly behind you, it's nice and dark, and it has a wide angle of view out to the street in front of you. Using the bomb site as your cover is also excellent in the sense that it's a difficult head glitch to get shot off of, but it can happen. If you're fighting several enemies at once, try popping out from the sides every now and then to switch up your angle of attack and throw off your foes who will be trying to aim their sights most likely at the top of the bomb site. And while we're on the subject of defending against multiple attackers, let's talk about another advanced tip that's unique in the Cyber Attack game mode: drawing. No, I'm not saying to quit your day job and pursue a career as an artist, unless of course that's your dream and passion, in which case you have my full support and I will love you no matter what you choose. Instead, I'm talking about knowing when the right time is to draw the round out. Unlike Search and Destroy, where in any given round, one team is designated the attackers and the other is designated the defenders, Cyber Attack teams are truly neutral each round, which is partly what gives me so much enjoyment out of the game mode, because each round can play out so differently at any point during it. The thing about this neutrality is that the game won't automatically give a win to a defending team just for running down the clock, because both teams had equal opportunities to become the attacker or defender by picking up the EMP. So what does this game mechanic mean for you? Why is it placed into the advanced tip category? I'm making such a big deal about the ability to draw rounds out in Cyber Attack because when that clock hits 0, both teams gain a point. And trust me, there will be rounds that you or your team make mistakes and suddenly you're thrust into a 1v6 situation. And while yes, it is quite doable to win a 1v6 depending on who you're playing, there are times when you can't afford to take that chance. If you're playing a team of equal or greater skill and you find yourself in that dire last man alive scenario, you'll know after watching this video that you've at least got another tool in your toolkit you can use to still gain a point this round by, well, just hiding. As long as it's not match point and the other team isn't a point away from winning, it's better for you that both teams get a point instead of just the enemy team winning that round. Now, to effectively pull this off, the most important condition is to maintain control of the EMP. You've got to have it in your possession, otherwise they'll just plant it at your bomb site and win. You've also got to incorporate the aspect of stealth. This strategy gets harder to do the closer to the beginning of the round the rest of your team dies, because you'll have to evade the enemy team for a much longer time, and after a little while they'll start to catch on to your antics and start frantically searching for you. This is a difficult strategy to pull off, and unfortunately, you won't win the round every time you try this out, but at least you'll have given it your all. The best thing to do in these situations is to try your best to remain hidden and not take any gunfights unless you know your position has been compromised. It may not be glamorous, or exciting, or fun, or even all that sportsmanlike, but it is a dick move that can get you a point for a round you'd otherwise lose. And we all know in life, it's not about having fun. It's about making sure your enemies aren't. It's also about winning, and this strategy can help with that. Just as a side note, you can actually win the game by drawing out the round if your team has 4 points and the enemy team has less than 4. Likewise, you can tie the whole game and neither team wins or loses if the time runs out when both teams have 4 round wins. But that's no fun, so try to get that dub. Now, the last subject I want to cover in this video is the value of having multiple different classes set up so you have the ability to deal with the different situations and playstyles your enemies will throw at you. You never know what kind of team you'll be facing when you get into a lobby, so it's best to come prepared. If you're anything like me, you've got a main class you use all the time and a couple others you can switch to at a moment's notice if you're having an off game or need to switch up your strategy to respond appropriately to how the other team is playing. Part 3 of this video series is actually going to cover my favorite classes for Cyber Attack, including my main AR class, the best overkill class, and of course some great rushing SMG classes. So please, consider liking this video if you've enjoyed it so far, and subscribe to the channel to become a proud member of the Moo Crew. But for this video, the most important thing to keep in mind when you're playing a tough team and your usual classes aren't working is that you can turn the enemy's strengths into their weaknesses by rebuilding a class of yours that's custom tailored to counter their playstyle. It's the ultimate personalized fuck you from your team to theirs. For example, you'll find out in the next video that I usually run C4 on the majority of my classes. But if you run into a team with a few pesky riot shielders running EOD, a single C4 won't cut it. But a quick shuffle of your lethal perk to something like a thermite or a sticky grenade can completely nullify whatever strategy the other team was trying to use against you. Likewise, if you're facing a team intent on rushing you down round after round, make the call for your team to switch to AR so they can't close the distance, and alter your playstyle a bit to hang back a little and wait for them to come to you. As soon as you've cleared out the rushers, you can move out with your team and push together knowing you've got a numbers advantage that'll dominate the enemy team. All in all, it's most important to identify the enemy's strategy early, so you and your team can alter your tactics and your classes to deal with them appropriately. And with that, that just about wraps up everything I wanted to cover in this more advanced tactics cyber attack guide. Let me know in the comments below if there's something specific you want me to cover in one of the next videos, and stay tuned for more in this cyber attack series by subscribing below. You can always catch more of the Moo Crew by following the Twitch channel or our Instagram page @OfficialMooCrew. I'll see y'all in the next video.